Hello, everybody. Welcome to what I believe is the 65th call of the Amazon Investor Coalition. This is a weekly call and podcast series dedicated to advancing force-friendly economic development and the rule of law across the Amazon region in South America. We're supported by the Global Governance Philanthropy Network and Nexus and various other partners. And this week we are featuring the Jornada Amazonia, or the Amazon Journey, which is a program of CERTI. And we have on the call Janice Maciel and Guilherme Rodriguez, and where is he? Rafael Kumke. And they're going to be telling us about themselves and about CERTI and about their work in the Amazon. So let's go ahead and start. Janice, we'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What did you do before you worked with CERTI and the Amazon?
Okay, thank you very much, John. Pleasure to be here with all of you. Well, I'm working with Amazon team since the beginning of this year, actually. Previously, I have worked in SET Foundation with startup acceleration. So I coordinated Inovativa Brazil, that is the biggest accelerator program in Brazil. And I did this for the last 5 years. And since the beginning of this year, I integrated the Green Economy Center of SET Foundation, where I'm the manager and the technical coordinator of the Jornada Amazonia initiative. So thank you very much, John. And we can go on, I can introduce, Guilherme can introduce himself.
Go for it.
Yes, it's a big pleasure to be here. Jonah, thank you for the invite. I myself, I am an engineer, a materials engineer. And I also have been working with this theme of the Amazon forest and the bioeconomy and green economy for not so much time. But I've been here at CERTI for 12 years already, mainly working on developing processes, mainly industrial processes, but somehow now I join also the green economy team. And yeah, so that's a little bit background information about myself.
And Rafael?
Thank you, Jonah. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Rafael Kumke. I'm a biologist, and I've been working at CERTI since 2010, mainly developing and coordinating projects in fields like bioeconomy and impact innovation ecosystem. And in the Amazon region, I have some experience since 2018, when CERTI performed a study that we will talk a little bit more later. Thank you again.
Great. First question up. Guilherme, this is for you. What is CERTI? How did it start? How is it funded?
Oh, thank you for the question, Jonah. CERTI started actually in 1984. It was a dream of the founder to help bridging the gap between the science that was being performed and done at the universities and actually bringing all this knowledge down to the other end, to let's say to industry in a main sense. So CERTI started like that. Also, we were found in the city of Florianopolis, which is a small island in the Atlantic coast of Brazil, in the southernmost region. And because it is an island, in the 80s, there was a big, let's say, push towards innovation, where the city had to make some, let's say, some decisions. And CERTI stepped in and helped making, let's say, political decisions on not bringing big industrial activities to the island, because it's a very beautiful place, actually, filled with beaches and a lot of nature. So when CERTI helped take this decision that industrial solutions were not a good thing here, it started also creating an ecosystem, which by the time at the end of the 80s, it was mainly focused on information technology and computer sciences, because we believed at the time that one way to avoid the big industries to come to the island was to invest in startups and help building, let's say, an ecosystem around information technology and computer science. So we started doing that in 84, where CERTI was founded. And in 86, CERTI also started the first incubator of technology-based companies in Brazil. So actually, CERTI was the first one in the whole of Brazil to start incubating companies and starting making this journey, well, we say jornada in Portuguese, towards having an idea and bringing this gap from the idea all the way down to putting a product or a process in the market. So that's how we started. We are a private, independent, and non-profitable organization. But although our headquarters is here in the south of Brazil, we have a very wide participation around the whole Brazilian areas. So we have 2 associated institutions, one in Manaus, in the heart of the Amazon forest, and one in Brasilia, which is the federal capital of Brazil. And we also work with business units, and each of these units has one aim or one, it works in a different part of the whole technology, let's say, portfolio. So we go all the way from digital convergence, as you can see here in the slide that I'm showing, all the way through metrology, instrumentation, production. But what moves us in this, the ideas that are moving us right now at CERTI has to do with innovative entrepreneurship, green economy, and sustainable energy. And those are more, let's say, recent business units here at CERTI. And they help us bridge this gap towards, let's say, a very traditional way of making innovative entrepreneurship to a new way, which has to do with social impact and environmental impact, which is all about the Jornada Amazônia, which Janice and Rafael will present. Can you put the next one, just briefly, Janice, the next slide? So just to give you an example of our ecosystem right now, we go all the way from the ideas to having a product or a process or something out in the market which help us, let's say, fulfill or making the whole innovation circle go around. We do that by having some specific, not institutions, but specific places where we help bridge each of this part of this journey. So we have an incubator, the first one of Brazil, as I mentioned, but we also have accelerators. Actually, we have 2 of them, one working with more in the software business and one working with hardware. But we also have a venture capital, a lab factory, and also develop innovation parks. So that way, around CERTI, the whole ecosystem can be nurtured and can be developed. Just to give you an example, here at the city of Florianopolis, where we are, when CERTI started in the decade of the 80s, there were around 129 companies, enterprises here in the city. When CERTI started incubating, accelerating, and forging this ecosystem, well, we are today, actually, these are data from 2019, if I'm not mistaken, but we are now more than 12,000 technology enterprises only in our state. And half of it have been grounded in the last 5 years. And many of them has somehow used or had a benefit from all these steps that CERTI put on the way of this journey. So that's how we believe we can turn around cities and we can bring wealth and generate nice innovation and innovative ideas and development. So that's a little bit about CERTI. Please then perhaps later, if you have any further questions, you can address it. Rafael and Janice, back to you.
Great. Next up, Rafael and Janice, how did CERTI start to work in the Amazon?
Well, CERTI has an institution in Manaus, actually, called CERTI Amazonia, for more than 20 years. So since its beginning, CERTI Amazonia is more focused on innovation technology to support the industrial pole of Manaus. But in 2018, we got the opportunity to perform a study about the potential of the Amazon impact innovation ecosystem, to look how the ecosystem is already structured to also generate and to conserve the forest and the communities that live in it. So this study was the basis of the Amazon journey, of the Amazon Jornada Amazônia, and which we will tell a little bit more about it. But this is mainly how CERTI acts or works in Amazon. More than 20 years, and focusing more on bioeconomy since 2018.
Great. So give it to us. Tell us, so where did the name for Jornada Amazonia come from? How do you guys promote the bioeconomy? What are your goals? Janice.
Janice, you are muted. Maybe,
sorry.
Jonah, can I give a little bit about the results of the study?
Yes, go ahead.
Just to before Janice tell about the goals. So briefly, we did two approach mainly in this study. First, we mapped the players that already act in the impact innovation ecosystem in the Amazon, and we classified them in different stages according to this curve, which we call the entrepreneur journey or the entrepreneur curve here. So we got these results here. At the beginning of this journey, the activation stage, we mapped almost 2,000 existing lines of research from Amazon Science and Research Institute that could generate product, service, value from and for the forest. So there is knowledge being produced. This is the main result here. The second stage, origination, we mapped from 2015 through 2018, 140 startups that were created in this period, and that could and from this number, almost 46 that could create value to the forest. So the main result here is a low number of startups being created. There is a gap here. But moving on, the next stage, acceleration, incubation. We mapped 50 incubator, accelerator, and similar mechanisms operating in the Amazon, and more than 300 companies in industries that actually buy Amazon products. So, although here there is a large or a high number of generation of knowledge regarding this research line, almost 2,000, and a high number of incubator, 50, and accelerator or similar mechanisms, there is a gap here at the origination stage. There are few startups being created. So this is the main highlight of our study here from this first approach. Next slide, please, Janice. The second approach of the study was to take a look at the forest value chain from a territory perspective, from the municipalities. So we looked at change at different sectors like this here in the slide, food and beverage, rubber, cosmetics, and so on, and how they are at the territory regarding the vacation at this territory. So the bluer the color here, the greater the vacation for that sector, for example. And next slide, and to finish my part here, this is just the consolidated map of all sectors, giving us an idea how and what sector and what value change has a higher potential, a higher vocation in a municipality scale. Thank you. Janice.
Janice, feel free to go ahead and tell us about the programming on the ground after the study.
Sure. Okay, so based on this study, we understand that what we call the ingredients for the innovative ecosystem, they were there, but they were working in a very disintegrated manner. And so the theory of change of our work is focused on the thesis that innovation and entrepreneurship in bioeconomy has the power to conserve the Amazon forest. But we believe that the great potential of local bioeconomy can transform lives and the local reality, but to create economic competitiveness for the forest, we require promoting scale innovation in these value chains, in these forest value chains, and a broader partnership with private sector. So in one hand, we face the context of insufficient support for business development. And on the other hand, the speed of destruction in the Amazon demands us, all of us, the ability to produce innovation quickly and in a more diversified way, based not only in linear models, but in a complex and systematic logic. So this is our approach, the ecosystem approach. And so it's about creating enable environments instead of focus on a specific individual cases. So this is a little bit of the logic of innovation ecosystem. No? We believe that if all those local agents that are already in the region, if they act in a more integrated manner, and if they do so with a perspective of a global market competitiveness, right? We will have a new promise scenario. So is activating and strengthening this innovation ecosystem that we create the Jornada Amazônia with the aim to create the ways for this condition to happen. So, well, talking a little bit more about the Jornada Amazônia initiative itself, the general objective of the Jornada is to contribute to forest conservation. And as we mentioned before, we understand that innovative startups acting the intermediary links of the production chains, because in one hand we have the extractivism, the communities, and in the other hand we have the industry, and we have a big gap between these two worlds. So we believe that if we have startups between these two actors, we can diversify demands, we can reduce dependencies, we can overcome some challenge of scale and logistics. So we can then promote competitiveness for the forest and adding value locally and connecting with global chains to scale these impacts. So in resume, the Jornada Amazônia is an initiative that expands business opportunities based on biodiversity and based on fostering entrepreneurship with impact in the region. And if you allowed me to go on here, just to explain our approach, John.
Sure.
All the work, it's based on, we have a look for the ecosystem as a whole, but the enterprise itself are on the center of approach. So our approach, it's based on this entrepreneur curve or entrepreneur journey, where we understand that we have 3 different moments based on different stage of maturity of the business that we call the activation, where we, in this moment, we are in the very beginning of the journey where there is no business yet. So this is the moment to awake and to activate the entrepreneurial potential of the Amazon talents in this case. So this stage, it's focused on the entrepreneur and the stimulation of new talents to the journey of entrepreneurship, helping them to create the culture of entrepreneurship in the region. The next stage is where we help to originate new startups. So we do that, encourage and support local entrepreneurs to create new business or to transform ideas into ventures, to stimulate that the academic research reach the market. So basically we are working inside the university on the base of knowledge, so helping innovative research goes to the market. And those ones here below, Genesis, Synapse, Synergia, it's how we promote these changes, and I can talk a little bit later on. And the evolution phases, we call evolution, that it's based on the concept of ecosystem cross-learning. So this is a process where we help to accelerate the ecosystem itself. So it involves bringing together stakeholders from a more emerging ecosystem, for example, such as the Amazon, with those of a more mature ecosystem, such as the South and Southeast ecosystem. So this is the time when Jornada gets closer to those who are ready on a business and want to leverage their development. So through partnerships, connection with market investors, and the help to development of new solution technology, we help these startups, these existing startups, to scale and to get and to be more competitive. But another approach that we have in this moment, it's with strengthening incubators and local accelerators. And we do this with support to these accelerators and incubators based on the knowledge that we have here in the South and through some knowledge sharing process. So these are the main stages, the entrepreneur stages, and then we have other structural tools. That it's the digital twin, that it's a platform that helps us to connect with the whole value chain. And we have some market and investor connection initiative as well, and some impact monitoring system that I can talk more later on if it's case, okay?
Great. Is the presentation over? Can we take off the slides?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Let me
great.
stop here.
Great. Okay, just a couple questions for me, and then we'll open it up to the rest of the audience. Can you tell us a little bit about the indicators, the market indicators, the sinais vitais that you guys are tracking? How do you track them? How do they inform your strategy?
Sure. Well, the metric system, actually, it's how you monitor that our thesis it's happening. So it's we aim to monitor the competitiveness and sustainability of the conserved forest. So it gathers, measures, and graphically represents relevant indicators for management and decision making. In this year, in this current year, we have worked on the definition and conceptual architecture and requirements of the system. And the next step is the validation with some strategic partners. And the next year, we're going to develop the software and start the monitoring process with the aim, as I said, to check if we are in a mid and long term helping or to achieve our own thesis, right? That it's to foster this innovative ecosystem.
Great. And can you tell us a little bit about the case of Brazil nuts and your digital twin? Who are the partners that you're working for and some of the discovery and the future deployment plans?
Sure. So the digital twin, it's one of our two mechanisms, one of a tool to help with a market connection. So the studies that we carry out in 2019 and some surveys we did with off-takers and industries that buy products from the Amazon, they show that one of the main barriers to the development of the scale of these forest markets is the poor organization of the value chains from end to end. So we know that the market is driven by industry demand, but what we noticed from these studies, it's a low connection of the actors at the base of the chain with the market and the industry. So this low connection creates an abyss that between the characteristics of the demand that requires high volume and standard with the characteristics of local supply, which basically operates with low volume and with a more diverse standard of products. So to help to mitigate part of this problem, this tool is being developed, and it's information, very generally talking, it's information management and a market integration mechanism that will be structured with a technological concept of digital twin. A digital twin applied to sustainable value chains. So it allows understand the forest, to understand and to forecast future market demands in order to coordinate and connect it with the existing capacities and supply flows. So the intelligence analysis resulting from this tool will allow the most diverse players and jornada partners to allocate their efforts and investments in a more efficiently way, all guided by market demand information. So this is being developed for the nut value chain this year, and our aim is to develop it for more chains on the next on the following years.
Great, we have our first question up. Juan Carlos, please introduce yourself and then your question. Oh, and everyone is welcome to paste their names, their websites, their LinkedIns. A big part of these calls is people networking with each other. Juan Carlos.
Thank you. I posted the question. It was regarding the difficulties of bringing together the actors, and I'm the CEO and founder of Impactia, and we're a platform that are also trying to connect different actors. So we share your pains there, and I think it's amazing what you've presented.
So just to repeat the question is, what are the challenges of connecting the different actors? Is that right? Great.
Sure. Sorry, am I muted? No. Yes, this is a big challenge, but through for the last 3 and 4 years, we are working in a very intensive way in the Amazon. And we have very good partners already in the region. So this helps us to create and to together to construct with them all these conceptual that the Jornada Amazônica is based. So I believe that one approach that we are having good results is this ecosystem cross-learning process that I told before. So we are not just daring to make things happen. We want to help them with our experience that we have here. So we don't want to be there doing things that they are not doing. We want to be there helping them to get to be more competitive, to strengthen the local mechanisms, and to help in the environment, the ecosystem in a whole perspective.
Great, thanks. Others? Feel free to just come off mic and ask a question.
Janice, Guilherme, thank you so much for presenting. So great to hear you present in English this time. I am so excited by everything that you're sharing. Quick question about your research. You showed a map that was like the aggregate map of bio, and it was highest along the arc of deforestation. What value chains are responsible for those patterns and those predictions?
I'm sorry, didn't reach. I lost your connection for some seconds here.
Yeah,
Which value change are in the?
So you showed a map of bioeconomy activation potential, which was like this layered map of all of the different vocation layers. And it was highest along the arc of deforestation. And I'm just curious to understand more. Can you tell us a bit more about that and the value chains that are responsible for that and this vocation scale, just to dig into that a little bit more?
Yeah. Actually, let me see here. Yes.
Are you seeing my screen? Yeah, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so the study that we did here, we map where are the potential in which industry. For example, for food and beverage. So the more blue they are, the higher the potential. So
I switched the axis. That's why I was like, wow, the highest potential was in the,
no.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's the contrary, yeah.
Yeah, it's the contrary. Yeah. So we see that although we believe, for at least here in Brazil, when we talk about Amazon potential, everybody thinks about cosmetics industry because there is a big case here in Brazil with this industry. But from our studies and from like all other studies other institutions are conducting, we see that the food and beverage are the main industry that can really generate a scale and impactful results in the region, because it's very well distributed, and it's and the demand of the companies remains, they are more distributed as well. Cosmetic, it's very concentrated market. Food, beverage, it's a more distributed market. So and also from all the startups that we mapped, we see that most of them are working with food and beverage technologies, or maybe just in somehow processing biodiversity, or doing a more sophisticated process and creating superfood, for example, and so on.
And just to complement, also the more than 300 companies, industry that we mapped that already buy products from the Amazon, more than 70% are from food and beverage. So just to highlight this sector, the importance of this sector regarding this strategy here that we are talking about. Of course, cosmetic, there is a high potential, but the life cycle of this industry is also very long. You have to have 5, 6, 10 years to develop a new product in cosmetics or in pharmaceutics and so on, while food and beverage is just for now.
John Bruno, and please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is John Bruno. I'm the Executive Director of the International Ecotourism Society. I don't see anybody responding. Okay, so it looks like you can hear me, right? Okay. So I noticed, first of all, thank you for the chart. That's an excellent visual representation of the possibility for entrepreneurship. But I will point out, and this is more of a comment than a question, that a lot of times the industries that you're discussing require infrastructure changes and ecosystem changes, whereas tourism, the right kind of tourism, sustainable tourism, doesn't. So it makes a very effective way to quickly begin an ROI for local communities, small business communities, that doesn't require a lot of outside investment or a lot of obligation on the part of the community. So I first thank you for including the industry. As you pointed out, there's lots of folks that are kind of on one side and some that are on the services side, but we're seeing a lot of activity, potential tourism activity in the region. And my question to go with that is what do you see in terms of sustainable tourism growth in the region?
This is one of the main industry in the region, John, and we see that with a very good perspective. We mapped some very interesting startups that are working with tourism in the region, and it's impressive the impact that they can create. To give you like a simple example, one of the startups that we were working on, in the week that we were talking with them, they received a call from a cacique, that it's a indigenous chief, right? I believe that's the asking the entrepreneur how they could help them, because they were being they were being forced to open their lands to the mine extraction. So they were being coercive, like in a coercive force. They were offering too much money for them, but they didn't want to enter in the mine industry. So they were helping. They were asking for help for this girl that she's an entrepreneur, and she's doing some very interesting job in the region, working with ethnic tourism. And so it was very interesting to see how impactful can be some very simple and non-technological initiatives. You know, you don't. That's why we say that we are not focused on technological things. Maybe it's just some different business model, or some the innovation can come from many different ways, not only technological. So this was one example of that we were very impressed. So we do believe in the impact of this, and actually we have some startup that we are working on that are in this field.
Thank you.
Just one sentence on ecotourism. Let's see. Buy low, sell high. Now is a low moment because of the pandemic for ecotourism. So great moment to get started.
Exactly.
Okay, 2 more people lined up. First will be Mark, and then we'll go into Wayne and Janice. Wayne's question will allow you to go deeper into your future plans. Mark.
Yes, Jenny, thank you. Yes, I would love to hear about your plans for and your goals for the next years. But my first question would be more into how do you integrate indigenous voices and particularities into your assessments, and more specifically, the impact some of these activities may have on their ways of life.
Sure. Actually, we are not working directly with indigenous and the base of the chains. Like we have partners who work in the baseline of the value chains, but our whole work it's based in how we can create more value to the base. You know, I'm sorry if I'm not like my English, maybe I miss some word, and if I'm not being understandable, let me know, okay? So, so our whole approach, it's how we can generate value to the base of the forest, you know, for the people who actually preserve the forest. So we are also, for example, we have one, I didn't have time here to present all the initiatives, but we have one specific initiative that, well, CERT Foundation, it's mainly an engineering company. So we are working on develop some tools, some technology, tech solution to help to generate more value for the extractivism activities, for example. So how can the people who, for example, the extractivism, how they can benefit and they can aggregate value in the forests, not only selling raw products, you know? So that's our approach with the base of the value chains.
Great. Wayne.
Thanks, Jonah. Yeah, Janice, I think actually your response to Mark's question connects to mine. I think it's amazing that you guys work at the ecosystems level. We're trying to do that. We're aiming to connect at the landscape level. I found myself asking, like, what are the specific services that you provide to, for example, stakeholders in the Amazon? So, for example, businesses, or for ourselves, we fit into that incubator space, working with indigenous communities and community enterprise. So how do you, what services do you provide, and what's the financial model?
Okay, so to answer this, I'm gonna show how we act, okay, John, and I'm gonna just share here my screen that I think it's gonna be more tangible what we do. So in this activation phase that I told at the beginning of the presentation, we want to awaken talents for the impact entrepreneurship. So we want to create a culture of entrepreneurship in the region. We want to show the talents inside the universities, for example, that they have a path that they have a choice to follow this path of entrepreneurship. So we have a short-term program that we call Genesis that we run with university and technical school. And our target is in the next 5 years to mobilize at least 4,000 talents. The next stage, it's 40, the origination. 40,000 talents, sorry. 40,000 talents. The next stage, it's the origination stage. We want to help to create 400 new startups, and startups that creates value for the forest. So this is based on the Synapse program, that it's a methodology and a program run by CERT for more than 13 years, where we help the creation and the support of new business startups. So basically we work with researchers, helping them to take their ideas or to take their research to the market, and we help with non-refundable investment to create the MVP, the minimal viable product, and we also give technical support for these new startups. And this, the activation and origination phase, we understand that it's the main contribution that we can give, because there are many other institutions and mechanisms looking for the next stage, that is the evolution stage. So there are many accelerators and incubators, and there are private capital flowing in the region, but there is no enough startups in the pipeline. So if we don't act in the beginning of this journey, if we don't create the culture in the region, if we don't generate more startups, there is no pipeline in the next years, you know, because we have already very few good projects. So our aim it's to focus very much in these stages, because we believe that it's the base of the whole ecosystem. The innovative ecosystem is not going to work without these mechanisms, in the beginning of the journey. And this is how Florianopolis creates all the culture and the development of this very dynamic ecosystem here. It was with recurrence of synapses programs that help each year create new startups. You know, so this is our main target in the region. And for the evolution phase, we don't want to create new incubators or accelerators. We want to help the incubators and accelerators that already existed to get better, to increase their competitiveness, we want to transfer our knowledge from here to these accelerators and incubators. But we understand that we have some existing startups that are in the region that maybe they are already inside accelerators and incubators, but they need an extra layer of support to connect them with more mature ecosystems, to connect them with experts, high-level mentors, to connect them with all the relevant network of sets and our partners. So this is we are not going to run an accelerated program, but we want to offer these startups an extra layer of support. So these are our main targets here. And also we have we want at least 200 million reais invested in at least 40 startups at the end of these 5 years. That goes from 2022 to 2026. And more than 400 million reais transacted through these startups. And 1 million preserved hectares directly associated with business. So, well, it was a large answer, but it makes more tangible to explain what we are going to do and how we are going to act in the region.
Fiona Bannister, you're up next.
Thank you. I was trying to understand, how can we help to activate these projects, and where can we as resource and collaborators help to not just synthesize this set of projects, but across the Amazon? Where can we support you? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Fiona, for this question. Guilherme, you wanna answer?
Yeah, I can try. So as you were saying, and I will pick up from where you left, Janice, the whole goal of this Jornada Amazonia is to increase the pipeline entry. And the more work we do in the early beginnings, or in the early phases of the journey, in the activating and origination, and helping bringing together all this entrepreneurship, impact entrepreneurship culture, the higher is more likely is that we are going to transform as an ecosystem of bioeconomy or green energy, green economy, ecosystem, because we will help to bring more and more investment-ready startups to get somehow financed, and the more, let's say, investment-ready startups we get, because they are all associated somehow with the thesis behind of the journey, the higher are the odds, or better are the odds, that we are going to be successful in generating value for the Amazon, but more than that, to keep the whole nature ecosystem intact. So
Yes.
those are very, just to finish here, those are very, let's say, very hard goals to achieve. And that's exactly how I think, Fiona, your question here makes sense, because the more concern we bring to the beginning of the journey, to the origination and the activation processes, and the more we can diversify the investments being done there, the higher are the odds, and the more likely is going to be for the future that we are going to be transforming more and more and more investment-ready startups that will be doing work in the ecosystem, and then with the ecosystem very, let's say, the bigger this ecosystem is, the more we save the forest. So that's I think, how you can help. I mean,
yeah,
in the very beginning.
Yeah, and I would complete that, adding that we are not doing nothing of this alone. We are doing this with many partners, some international partners, some local partners, some national parks from the Ministry of the Economy Ministry. So we are doing this with many different partners. So
yeah, they go from all the way from the governmental sphere, because I think it's very important that we have how we measure is important, as it was already presented, how we integrate things, how we work in a transparent manner, because if we can get all these things together through the journey, more likely is also the quality of the investments that will come. So that's why we are bringing, try to, let's say, fulfill this gap between the investing and getting the more and more startup or investment-ready startups there. So that's why we are looking into all spheres, the government spheres, the municipalities and state, and let's say private sector, and so on.
Yeah, and yeah, I would just to finish, Fiona would be more than welcome to continue this talk later on and to understand what we are doing, how can we cooperate. Yeah.
So I will leave also the contacts of the team here in the chat, so we can later on discuss.
Great. We're near the top of the hour, so let's make space for Cameron and Martin to ask their questions quickly, and then you guys from CERTI can respond quickly. We'll go a little bit past the top of the hour. Go for it, Cameron, then Martin.
Sure. Hi, my name is Cameron Dubes. I've worked a lot in Brazil and really interested in supporting NGOs. So the question is really, do you work with NGOs as well, as far as, or just a small business?
Like if we support NGOs, you mean? Because we work with many NGOs as a partners for some specific solution and things like that. But we can also support NGOs when they have like a business model, or you know what I mean. So yes, and if they are in the region, yeah.
Martin.
Very nice to meet you, everybody. My name is Martin Gomez. I'm from Peru. I live in the Amazon rainforest in Cordillera Escalera. It's a conservation area. It's a very amazing jungle who is between 600 and 1,200 meters above sea level. So it makes a high jungle, a unique biodiversity in Peru that unions with the lower jungle of Brazil, the Mato Grosso. There, I'm part of a project called Chirapamanta, which is conservation and ecotourism. We've been doing more into like conservation through that way. And a few years ago, I started up an organization called Amazonia Botanics. We more into like looking for a model, then it can work as a way of change the growers or the agriculture part of the local people through a need in the market with a short, middle, long-term projects. So my question would be how we can bridge organizations in our side of the Amazon in Brazil with Peru. It's a bridge made already. Could we keep building these connections that we are all unifying right now to support these startups and around, the Amazonia? Thank you.
Martin, please post your LinkedIn or email address in the bottom. Janice,
Absolutely.
Certi team?
Yes. So Martin, yeah, we are very much looking forward to do this kind of connection. We understand as we have, in the same perspective of this ecosystem cross-learning, we have a lot to exchange as well with other Amazon countries. So it's in our plans to do so. We didn't start that yet, okay? But we'll be very nice to talk more about that with you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. I think the forests live in our hearts, and that's why we are motivating to make this connection. And I'm very grateful for being here. Thank you for this opportunity.
Great. Thank you, everybody. We now transition at the top of the hour to informal, unstructured time. I call it water cooler time, where people may get off the line. Some of the speakers may stay on, and it's free-flowing open mic sessions. So thank you, everybody, and welcome to water cooler time. Anybody feel free to share or to post in the chat.
Thank you, Jonah, and all. I wanted to also take a moment to honor Stan, if he's still here, because Stan rocked the external COP with his ice house, bringing voices and Indigenous wisdom and curating some of the most important, valuable gifts that I gained also during COP was curated by Stan and his efforts. So I'd love to hear if he has something he'd like to say about what and how we could actually support the ongoing work. Thank you.
Thanks. That's really nice of you, Fiona, to say. It was pretty wild just being in every conversation that we had over the 3 weeks there in Glasgow. I actually just came back tonight after we did a film screening there yesterday. So I'm finally done with Glasgow for a few weeks. But, I think that one of the big things that I saw from the partners that we had and the conversations was that there's a lot of capital getting ready to be deployed into this area. And I think for the first time, nature-based solutions and the idea of nature and Indigenous communities being integral to whatever solution we're going to try to find for climate seemed to be top of mind, which was encouraging. But I do think that there need to be some new mechanisms for how we do this. From your conversation, Janice, I was really interested in the data side of what you were talking about. So one of the things that kind of came out of COP was some initial work that I think is going to be done over the next few months about beginning to build open source data repositories for climate data. And I think this is something that we were really advocating and starting conversations around. And it's something that we'll be involved in over the course of the next year. There are several governments that are interested in supporting an initiative. And the data that you guys are developing there, I'm just curious how we might be able to integrate it into open source mapping solutions or other types of solutions that could help us build a better shared set of facts around climate data. So I'd love to follow up with you about that. The other thing is we ourselves have been developing a payment mechanism based around oxygen called VO2, and that has gone live. We announced it last week at COP, and we're just starting the first payouts on it. So for any groups working on protecting the Amazon forest, we now have an additional digital value layer that we're developing, and we'd love to follow up with you guys about that and show you how you can begin to earn value for that work. And I do think it'll be one of many layers of how we're approaching this. So those are just some of my initial thoughts. Thank you.
Yes, Stan, I apologize. I have to leave for another meeting, but just to briefly talking about this solution, this data solution that we are building. Actually, they are two integrated solutions. One where we gather all kinds of data and we integrated that with the industry. But integrated with that, we have these metric system mechanisms that will help us to understand if we are reaching our goals or conservative goals. So the data, they came from many different kinds of sources. Like we have mapped already like 100 of different kinds of sources that where this data will come from. We are building this, we are putting all this data in this program. And also these programs allows the industry, for example, to input demands. So we will be able to forecast future demands based on what the industry are informing us. So for example, if the industry, they have like a demand of, I don't know, to give a number, 2 tons of nuts for the next year. So this is generated in a whole chain of information that we're gonna reach the base of the nuts community that produce the communities, and we'll be able to understand all the lack that existed in this chain to act preventively. So, well, I apologize, but I have to jump for another meeting, but we can keep the discussion in another.
Yeah, we can, I guess we can carry on from here, me and Rafael.
Okay.
Thank you, Janice. And
thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Janice. Just to add on what you were asking and what Janice was responding, there are several tools out there, not tools, but technologies that can help us there. Just trying to answer your questions, Stan. CERTI believes that there is some digital tools that can help us not only on collecting data, but making data available 24/7 in real time for everybody who is plugged into this digital twin that we're calling, and that the digital twin can be a source of information, an online source of information that can work from many levels. For example, imagine from the government level, or government could help making, let's say, public policies or public politics, right? Having good data that are being uploaded 24/7. It could help being more transparent with investors. Well, because we know that one of the things from investors that you have to have transparency and things like that. So this is the kind of solution that we are coming up with, not only in the whole ecosystem that we are going through with Jornada Amazônia, but also bring other levels of technologies and competences from CERTI as an Institute for Science, Technology and Innovation that has to do with digital tools and how can we get fresh data every day, 24/7, that helps even to build in the future an artificial intelligence tools, things like this, that if you are part of this journey, you can just simply plug in to your I don't know, to your service from your industry or from wherever you are, and you can get data in dashboards, things like this, on a 24/7 online manner. So those are part of the ambitions. So you see, we have several different places where we are looking into with this journey, with this jornada, Amazon journey. Maximizing the entrance of the pipeline to get a lot of, or the more that we can, investment ready startups. That's one aim. The other aim is to prepare this entrepreneurship culture. So making young people believe not only in their ideas, but making them believe that their ideas have to be somehow connected with green economy and biodiversity rescuing and things like this, which is the whole thesis of the program, and helping them develop their solutions that will help us monitor and contribute for forest salvation, things like this. Having this technological tool that you can plug and you can get in a dashboard real-time information from the different value chains of the forest, helping creating intelligence platforms that will grant or that will be specifically designed to have everything measured, everything integrated, everything transparent in a very relational way. So we are looking this into several different, let's say, prisms, into several different ways of looking at it, so that everybody can, I mean, like Janice said, it's not Certi's journey, but we like to feel that everybody can weigh in and can help construct this, because we think that this whole integration is one of the key solutions for the future of the forest. Sorry, I speak too much sometimes.
Ricardo, would you be interested in talking a little bit about your technology investing in the Amazon and ag?
Hi, my name is Ricardo. I live in Israel. Originally, I'm from Brazil. I am working now in an acceleration program called Amazon Tech. I have a accelerator program in Israel, and I'm partnered with Instituto Piatã. It's an institute based in Manaus, in the Amazon state in Brazil. And we are working to develop some startups from the Amazon region in partnership with technology from Israel. Then we are doing some partnerships now, one from a solar energy company from Manaus, another from Porto Velho in Rondônia, Brazil, and also another startup from Belém in the state of Pará in Brazil. We think if we can do an international partnership, we can bring technology for Amazon, and we can develop new technology to solve some problems in the all Amazon forest.
Is the ag investing that you're doing related to soy and cattle, or is some of it related to standing forests?
No. We are now working with some conservation area in Rondônia, and also in an açaí farm in Pará.
Great. Technology related to an açaí farm?
Yeah, it's a company that works with satellite pictures to help farmers from açaí. And the main problem in the Amazon, we have most part of the year it's cloudy, and then we are developing a software that will erase the cloud from the satellite picture to help give some results and some advice to the farmers in the region. We are starting pilots in Amazon region. Search if you have some ideas, if you want to do partners with some local producers. We are open. We are looking for partners in all over Amazon, not just in Brazil, but Peru, Ecuador, all the countries.
Just one more question about the acai. It's fascinating. So people who are wild harvesting acai might want to know where the plants are and which ones are producing based on historic weather patterns or things like that. Is that the kind of intelligence that the satellite data gives?
The satellite, it will give what are the problems in the farms. It can be acai, it can be soy, it can be all the kind of plantation in Amazon, because the idea is to give a cheap solution for small and medium farms, because today most part of the solutions from satellites and from drones, they are expensive. They are not for small farms, but the solution is for all the kinds of plantations. It's not just acai. Acai is just the initial pilot.
And the data it gives are like temperature or whether there's deforestation or things like that. Okay, great.
We can see if there is a problem of irrigation, if there is a part of the farm there is some deforestation. And we are also now working in Rondônia state to know if by satellite images we can help to measure the carbon credits. Because it's the same problem, and we have all the Amazon problem with the clouds. And if you try to look from the satellite, you get no image during months. And then we are working now in these two fields with the farms and also to help to get carbon credit for not help the farms not to deforestate.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
I got a question. It seems like a lot of the data that people is interested in satellite image. I'm been wondering because I've been getting data as far as surveys, talking to people who is hoping to have an associations or organizations to give them feedback on biodynamics, permaculture, systems of recuperating the soil. Then I think that's a very important way of the game right now, how to improve what the native people has been growing with technologies or new technologies that affected microorganisms or permaculture itself, to support really startups like that already exist. So many startups, like each individual or each family in the rainforest is a startup. My view is like how can we improve that? How we can have a model that it will work in every single aspect of that, like short growth, middle growth, and long-term growth. So we can have a plan for them to, okay, if you jump with us, you can have this type of crop that it will grow up in that 6 or 3 years period, this other one from 3 to 6, and so 6 to 10 years. So we can have aligning structure for us to approaching these people who has been very confused by so many alternatives. It was coffee, it was cacao, sacha inchi, and then the support as far as that what really is matter, place, like the roya with a coffee, with cacao right now, with 3 places, like we have a fungus, we have an insect, we have those situations that they don't have a solution yet. And we need to come up with a bridge-making solution to schools, to university, to science, and organic science to help out to improve that, to help out to, okay, how we can battle these things, because I've been putting 4-6 years in through these trees of cacao or coffee, and right now the production is going to half or less than that. Those startups are getting like, forget about it, you know. So in my opinion, in humble opinion, is like to develop these bridge making solutions, we need to have technology who can reach to the needed of the local people. And that's going to just align to more and identify who has the ignite personality to go for more startups, more into like, okay, let's go develop wild vanilla, for example, or natural medicine from the jungle. That's another great source. And there is like not yet somebody put together Ayurvedic medicine studies for hundreds of years, and to the Amazon rainforest who align so perfect. We have so many plants that they are related to the Amazon rainforest and in the India's forest. I can talk to you about Sapindus saponaria, for example. It's a subnuts that I'm being rescuing because it was a good logging tree. They didn't find many more needs for sopamine components, shampoo, body wash, detergent, dishwash, and also to control plagues. Right now, I'm bridge making in California. I'm in Humboldt State. I came to a program for startups. So I've been developing that as one of alternatives to help people, you know, to help improving not just economic way, it's also the way of water supply, you know, water treatment plants, and that really need, when it comes down to in our communities, are that food supply, water supply, energy supply, because that's the bottom needs. And healthy, they get the forest, and there's some communities who still using the forest as their pharmacies, and that is a technology that we need to rescue. I'm really all about that, and I want to develop more friendship with you guys. Really, I think this is an amazing first meeting for me, and I just full on want to be part of the move. So please let me know how I can fulfill that from Peru, and I would love to be a part of this chain.
Please, can I give a suggestion? Martin, you can contact me. We can do a pilot to compare many kinds of plantation in your area, and we can see which are the better and what we can suggest to the local farms. We can do this. Then I add my information on here on the chat. You can contact me. Then we can work together, and we will be happy to do a partnership with a local company or local startup, and to help to develop the ecosystem in Peru.
Awesome that this call is leading to you guys connecting. I'm going to post another resource. It's called Partners for Food Solutions. Maybe it's Partners in Food Solutions. So I think that's it. So 6 of the biggest food companies in the United States who are experts at bottling, for example, or transportation or refrigeration or what have you for their produce, mostly from Africa, have come together to provide pro bono support services to smallholder startups, cooperatives, et cetera. And I've spoken to them about coming to the Amazon, and they've asked me to introduce them to a couple of on-the-ground partners that have capacity and are in need for expertise. Imagine Hershey's and Kraft Foods and General Mills, these really large global brands using the expertise they've developed institutionally over the past 100 years for packaging or whatever it is. So I think there are lots of pathways. I think that idea of you and Ricardo connecting with each other, but also some of those in more global institutions is a real good idea.
Thank you. I believe this is the incubator boiling stuff. Like our brains are boiling. We're getting ideas and solutions together, and I think that's the part of the forest living in our hearts. We want to be surrounded by forests. I've been planting more trees every year. So that's the solution, you know. That's when it gets hands-on, is how many plants you put in earth. That's the result on that, and it's something that we all can do. And I'm pretty sure like it will ignite and start harvest something beautiful in our hearts and our minds when we do that caring of this forest.
Jonah, I will be happy to contact these partners that they want to help the Amazon region. I can bring them to the project, and they can help to make connections with the local companies. Thank you very much.
Great. Yeah, I think we'll need to approach them as a group. So I'll coordinate with you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, everybody. I think that's a good moment. Anything else?
Thank you for the opportunity, Jonah.
Thanks so much for joining us, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Have a
Thank you.
good week. Thank you.
Have a good
Gracias.
Bye-bye.
Silvia.
I'll follow up with everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.